Man surrenders after a 5-hour-long standoff in Huntington today. Police say he barricaded himself under a stranger's porch and wouldn't come out. 13 News reporter Anna King has the story.
Lily, Andy, thanks so much. Boy, what a fun morning. This is the first ceremony, first announcement in 3 years for the West Virginia Music Hall of Fame. And this year's inductees include 3 living inductees and 2 deceased. Here's a display of some of the artists.
A woman is grateful to be alive tonight after her car rolled 140 feet down a mountain Tuesday afternoon. Shelley Toney says her car rolled over 5 times before coming to a violent stop at the bottom of a hill.
Continuing coverage of yesterday's deadly helicopter crash here in Logan County that killed 6 people. Now that helicopter, that Huey helicopter based here at the Logan County Airport, I can tell you that investigators from the NTSB are at the crash site right now.
So just 1 week ago, meteorologist Brian Hughes set off on a voyage on the KDH stern wheel, headed for Pittsburgh and the backyard brawl. Well, Brian got to his destination on Sunday, and he's been having really the time of his life ever since then. Brian joins us now live from Pittsburgh with more on his haul to the brawl. How's it going there, Brian? He just worked the basketball tournament last week. In fact, he's been a huge part of Charleston high school and college basketball games for more than 20 years. So good, such a legend. McCoy is from Fayette County, West Virginia. He says it was really hard for female singers back then, but says Loretta Lynn put in lots of time, lots of miles on buses to get her music to the people. He says he hadn't worked with Lynn in about 15 years, but says he saw her several years ago at a Country Music Hall of Fame induction ceremony.
If you get the paperwork in, maybe we can get you some nice Fridays for football.
You place the order, you can't always deliver on it.
I will say some of the best memories, though, can be in the rain.
We are in Huntington here. This is going to be Gregory Cooper's new house. He is a veteran, a well-deserving veteran. This is Nexstar's Founders Day of Caring. We are working with Habitat for Humanity. We've gotten a lot done so far. This is going to be the living room of his new house over here. This is the laundry room and bathroom. Over here, we're going to show you the dining room, the kitchen. There's my buddy Charlie there, 82 years young. There's my friend Amanda Barron back there. And then back there is the bedroom and walk-in closet. We've been putting up all of this drywall today. We even put up some siding on the outside of the home. And we're just having a great time serving our communities. Again, it's the Nexstar Founders Day of Caring.
2 nasty crashes closed major interstates in Kanawha and Jackson counties today. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Rob Macko. Marilee McAuliffe is on assignment. Here are the locations. The tractor-trailer crash was near the Institute exit on I-64, while the tractor-trailer fire was at the Kanawha-Jackson County line on I-77. And what closed down I-77 was a tractor-trailer on fire. Crews at the scene say the truck was carrying 39,000 pounds of rubber. 13 News reporter Lane Ball is there now with the latest. Lane, what can you tell us about this? They've certainly got their hands full there. And check this out. This was the scene along I-64. It was a crash involving 2 tractor-trailers. It was on I-64 West just before the Institute exit. Happened at about 11:30 this morning. All lanes are now back open and traffic is flowing, but boy, was it a slow go for those westbound cars and trucks this afternoon. Power is back on tonight for some people in the city of Huntington. Check out this wild crash. It was on Adams Avenue near 26th Street West last night. Crews worked into the early morning hours to get things back. At one point, more than 1,200 homes and businesses were out of power. The driver of the truck is charged with a few misdemeanors, including driving under the influence. We are learning more tonight about the woman who was shot and killed in her own home Tuesday. It was the breaking news that we brought you right here on 13 News at 5. 13 News reporter Rachel Pellegrino talked to neighbors today who said the victim was a kind woman who was always willing to help others. Rachel, thanks. Huntington police say a fisherman found the body of a man in the Ohio River. This discovery was made near 15th Street around 7 o'clock last night. Deputy Chief Phil Watkins says investigators say they don't believe the man's body was in the river for more than a couple of days. The medical examiner now working to make an identification. The man accused of killing his own parents in Kanawha County has been ruled competent to stand trial. Takano Kambara's parents were found dead inside the house they shared along Kanawha State Forest Drive on New Year's Eve 2 years ago. Prosecutors requested an evaluation of Kambara last November to determine if he was fit to stand trial. He was found competent yesterday and then arraigned, where he pleaded not guilty. Kambara is due back in court in December. Earlier this week, the Kanawha County Prosecutor's Office said that 2 teachers' aides will face charges for failing to report child abuse and neglect in a special needs classroom. Now, one of them has already been arraigned. The charges are connected to abuse at Holtz Elementary School. Teacher Nancy Boggs was sentenced to 10 years in jail for that. Now, Now, 13 News reporter Nikki Walters spoke with the president of the West Virginia Education Association to see if incidents like this deter people from pursuing careers in the education field. All right, turning to the forecast now, Chief Meteorologist Spencer Atkins is here. Boy, what a nice day it was out there today, Spencer.
Oh, fantastic. You know, I put this up on my Facebook page.
Here's a traffic alert for you if you're driving through Huntington next week. The northbound lanes of Hal Greer Boulevard between 3rd and 5th Avenues will be closed for a traffic light replacement project. This is going to start next Tuesday, September 6th, run through Thursday, September 8th, depending on the weather. The floodwall gates in the Guyandotte area of Huntington will be closed tomorrow for a test. 13 News reporter Anna King went to that area today and has reaction from people who live there. Anna, what are they saying? Anna, thanks. There's another big economic development headline for West Virginia with another big company coming here. 13 News chief political reporter Mark Curtis joins us now in the studio. Mark, what's going on? All right, Mark, thanks for that report. Well, the community will say goodbye to Charleston Police K-9 Axel tomorrow. We will stream the service on WOWKTV.com starting at 2 p.m. The visitation starts at noon. It's all open to the public at the Charleston Coliseum and Convention Center Grand Hall. Charleston Police Chief Tyke Hunt says that Axel saved the lives of 2 officers on Saturday night when they tried to arrest a suspect. That man shot Axel and officers returned fire. Both died. Coming up on 13 News at 5, meteorologist Brian Hughes is living it up in Pittsburgh one day before the backyard brawl. How Brian is preparing on the other side of the break. And we're taking a look at your evening commute. It's I-64 in Dunbar. It's near the Institute exit where that nasty tractor trailer crash happened earlier and the westbound traffic was all messed up. We're going to be right back after this break. So just 1 week ago, meteorologist Brian Hughes set off on a voyage on the KDH stern wheel, headed for Pittsburgh and the backyard brawl. Well, Brian got to his destination on Sunday, and he's been having really the time of his life ever since then. Brian joins us now live from Pittsburgh with more on his haul to the brawl. How's it going there, Brian?
Oh, man, I've got to tell you, Rob, this has been an incredible experience. Back to you, Rob.
Boy, times have changed, Brian. That's all great information, though. Thanks so much. Well, 1 week after the big announcement, people are still talking about the Capitol Sports Complex planned for the Charleston Town Center. Starting next month, Kanawha County and Charleston city leaders will host 3 listening sessions about that Capitol Sports Center. They say it's a chance for people to give their feedback and say they want to see from this complex. The dates are on your screen there. They start September 20th, and we've got more information on times and locations on our website, WOWKTV.com. Game day, it's almost here, so make sure to get ready for the return of the Backyard Brawl with Mountaineer Game Day. The Gold and Blue Nation crew will be live at Acrisure Stadium in Pittsburgh tonight for a special Backyard Brawl kickoff special. That's tonight at 7, right after the CBS Evening News here on WOWK TV 13. Right now, we're taking a live look outside over Charleston, and coming up, Chief Meteorologist Spencer Atkins will be here with a full look at your forecast.
So that's the call for now, which is why you have to stay tuned.
We started talking about this backyard brawl months ago.
Yeah.
I mean, months ago we started planning for it, and now it's here, and tomorrow's September 1st already.
And I still feel like, wow, it's already here. It's
I know,
too soon
crazy.
in a way, yeah.
Exactly. Thanks, Spencer. We'll be right back on 13 News at 5. So I think the word you used was phenomenal to describe today's weather.
It really, really is. I mean, these are the days that we wait for sure, in the summer. Got a little work done, too, in the yard. It's the honeydew list kind of day. I put some grass seed in, made sure that I got the gutters checked. So if you got a list, get at it. We have clear skies now, 70s at 7 o'clock. You'll get a couple days out of that before the next chances for rain.
Yeah, don't tell my wife, because I didn't tackle any of the list today. So
I
guess I'm in trouble. All right. Thanks so much for watching 13 News at 5. West Virginia Tonight is coming your way next. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Rob Macko. One northeastern Kentucky community is mourning the loss of 2 teens killed in a car accident earlier today. Support from other areas has come flooding in. 13 News reporter Lane Ball was in Olive Hill. He says the students attended a high school in Carter County. We are learning more tonight about another fatal car crash. This one happened in Floyd County over the weekend. Kentucky State Police say Jason Bailey drove off the road along Kentucky Route 680 and hit a guardrail. He was rushed to the hospital where he later died. Bailey was 45 years old and lived in Langley, the community where the accident happened. At a time when prices are up on just about everything and money is tight for families, about 150 of them in Cabell County, they're fighting to get their money back that is owed to them. They want it returned. Dozens of parents came out tonight to learn more about the lawsuit that the Cabell County Board of Education filed against ET Advisor Services, LLC, for trips to Washington, D.C. that were canceled because of the COVID pandemic. We told you about this lawsuit last week. The middle school parents say they didn't know that a travel agent was handling the extended field trips. They also say they were not aware that each payment they were making was being given directly to the company at the time when it was paid instead of paying in full later. But they say they're glad the county is taking steps to get their hard-earned money returned to them. Some parents have even suggested suing the Board of Education because of this incident. Two former Chapmanville volunteer firefighters posted $5,000 bond each this afternoon as they made their first court appearance to answer charges that they used county taxpayer and fire department money for their own personal gain. Our cameras were not allowed inside the courtroom as the former Chapmanville Volunteer Fire Department Chief Thomas Perry and his son Cody Perry were before a judge. Now, this is video of Thomas Perry that we shot back in February when we were doing a story about a brush fire. According to the indictment, the money in question was misspent during a 6-year period between January 2015 and February 2021. The Perrys are due back in court in November. A teen accused of killing 4 family members asked for a continuance of his trial in Kanawha County Court. 18-year-old Gavin Smith's trial was supposed to start next week, but now it will not start until November while he undergoes a psychiatric evaluation. Smith is charged with killing his mother, stepfather, and 2 brothers in Elkview in December 2020. He pleaded not guilty to all 8 counts, including first-degree murder. Investigators say they found Smith in a home hiding behind a dresser and clothes with blood on them matching his brother's. Well, the passion for tradition burning bright tonight in Boone County. That is one massive bonfire. It's homecoming week as Scott High School in Madison. And as a tradition has it, the community comes together for a bonfire. Well, the kids who have been collecting the wood to burn woke up this morning to find out that someone else lit the fire for them in the middle of the night. So the community came together today, dropping off a mountain of wood, pallets, and everything you can think of to show whoever tried to dim their light only helped create an incredible inferno. And Scott takes on Logan Friday night as part of the big homecoming football game. Cassidy and Zach will have more in the 13 News Sports Zone a little bit later in the show and later this week as well. Country music legend and Kentucky native Loretta Lynn passed away Tuesday at the age of 90. The queen of country music touched millions of fans with her music. Today, I spoke with a West Virginia native who played on a number of Loretta Lynn records. West Virginia native Charlie McCoy played the harmonica on Loretta Lynn's 1975 hit, When the Tingle Becomes a Chill. McCoy says he played on 5 or 6 Loretta Lynn records and a few with Lynn and Conway Twitty. He says she was great to work with.
She was from back in the mountains, no doubt about it, and it was fine. And I think one of the cool things was that her producer, Owen Bradley, never tried to change her at all.
McCoy is a member of the West Virginia Music Hall of Fame, Country Music Hall of Fame, and Grand Ole Opry. I first met him in 2020 at the West Virginia Music Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Today he shared 2 of his favorite memories about the coal miner's daughter. One was when he was playing harmonica in a studio vocal booth.
She says, "Owen, I can't hear the French harp." And Owen said, "Loretta, the harmonica's in the booth." And she said, "Well, you can call it a harmonica if you want to, but it ain't nothing but a French harp."
He also recalls the time he came to the studio for a recording session after coaching his 12-year-old daughter's softball practice. The team's name was the Demons. There was a devil face on the ball cap.
She turns and looks at me like startled, and she says, "Here we was talking about things that made us scared, and you walk in with a dad-blame devil on your hat."
On Tuesday night, McCoy performed at the Grand Ole Opry. It was a scheduled performance, but because of Lynn's death, he says the Opry had her picture on the big screen, and Carly Pierce paid tribute to her. What do you think her lasting legacy is going to be?
Well, I think number one, some of the people question some of her songs, but number two, she was a great writer. Those songs were great.
So good. Such a legend. McCoy is from Fayette County, West Virginia. He says it was really hard for female singers back then, but says Loretta Lynn put in lots of time, lots of miles on buses to get her music to the people. He says he hadn't worked with Lynn in about 15 years, but says he saw her several years ago at a Country Music Hall of Fame induction ceremony. All right, so much elbow grease, wax, and a lot of good memories all on display tonight at the annual Charleston Rod Run and Doo-Wop Cruise-In. This was in Southridge. The cars were on display tonight before they take over Kanawha Boulevard starting tomorrow. From hot rods to hearses and everything in between, car enthusiasts come from several states to show off their rides and admire other classic cars. And Dennis, who you just heard from there, he's the car's original owner. He bought the Trans Am in '85. And he drove it here from Michigan. He says it was in storage for the past 10 years. So tomorrow, drivers will rev up their engines and they'll get down to the boulevard. And you can too, for all kinds of fun and entertainment. It's going to conclude with fireworks on Saturday night. Now, Katie Boytek will take the stage at Haddad Riverfront Park Friday night. So will Ronnie McDowell. And on Saturday, the 249th Army Band and the Avalons will play. And we're a proud sponsor of this event.
Welcome back. In the early to mid 20th century, the city of Charleston had a vibrant black neighborhood. It was called the Block.
Well, today most of the buildings are gone, but there's an effort underway to raise awareness of the Block's role in Charleston's history. Few today could tell you anything about Garnet High School, an all-black school in Charleston. But Don Epps can.
Yeah, there were lockers all around here.
He walked these hallways until graduation in 1955. Epps says he and his peers faced a lot of adversity being black in segregated Charleston.
I think because of the adversity that it made the school more tight-knit and it made it stronger.
Epps lived in St. Albans, 13 miles from the school, and traveled each day by bus. He says the bus picked up the black children around 6 a.m. before the white students, then took the black students home around 4:30 p.m. after the white kids had been taken home from their all-white schools.
Get up early, stay late. Yeah, that was the pattern.
Garnet High was in the Block, a dynamic part of Charleston's black community in the early to mid-1900s.
It was busy. It was bustling. There were people on the streets all the time.
The Block ran from Washington Street East to Smith Street and Capitol Street to Broad Street, which is now Leon Sullivan Way. Blacks weren't allowed to go to white restaurants, stores, or hotels in the city, so they opened businesses for themselves. Epps played basketball and baseball for Garnet High and spent a lot of time in the Block, where he says he always felt welcome.
I knew that I could go in the restaurant, I could sit down, I could go in the movie, I could do this or that.
It was a very vibrant cultural center for African Americans.
Dr. Billy Joe Payton is a history professor at West Virginia State University. He says the Block's pride and joy was the upscale Ferguson Hotel.
The Ferguson Hotel had a lot of nice amenities. Also had a barbershop, a theater, a number of stores.
Louis Armstrong was among those to perform in the Block's various clubs.
And the names I've heard include Count Basie, Duke Ellington, Joe Louis, the boxer, Ella Fitzgerald.
Can I run to?
With all of those great performers coming through town, white people would go to clubs in the Block too, even if it was discouraged.
White folks knew that the Block was a place where you could have a lot of fun and listen to the best music that you could find anywhere.
Garnet closed in 1956 and became John Adams Middle School. 2 decades later, the original name was restored but modified. The Garnet Career Center offers programs for adult students in automotive technology, practical nursing, phlebotomy technician, and medical assisting. Principal Sue Sweat feels a great responsibility to protect the school's rich history.
We really take great pride in keeping everything clean and trying as much as we can to preserve the way that the building looked originally.
The Block's history ended when schools became integrated. The interstate was built through town and neighborhoods were redeveloped. Black residents were forced from their homes. They moved to other parts of the city. Some just left town entirely.
A lot of the residents, African American residents, I think were promised a lot of things that did not come to pass.
The Ferguson Hotel caught fire in the 1960s and was eventually torn down. These two hotels are located where the Ferguson once stood. Only a few of the original buildings in the block are left, and they're on the National Register of Historic Places. But there are efforts underway to let people know about the block, which was made a citywide historic district in 2011.
I think it's great to preserve at least the memory of the block.
A sense of pride is to have your legacy to be known by somebody.
And Epps doesn't want people to forget what was once here.
They don't even know that there was a high school. They don't even know that there was a black high school, that there was a Garnet High School with a legacy and with renowned people who went to the school.
Don Epps says some of the Garnet graduates include journalist Tony Brown, heart surgeon John Norman, and civil rights leader Leon Sullivan.
The block was part of the larger Triangle District. That's another important part of Charleston's black community at the time. Talk about hidden history.
I know, it was really fun researching that and going through all the old footage and talking to Mr. Epps and everyone else. It was just a lot of fun to put together.